The Knots Landing cast once ruled primetime television, captivating audiences with their compelling storylines and unforgettable performances. But away from the cameras, life threw them unexpected twists, tragic accidents, career setbacks, and personal battles that sent their lives spiraling downward. Now, in 2025, where have they landed? Have they managed to turn their fortunes around, or are they still struggling with the shadows of the past? Join us as we uncover the jaw-dropping revelations about the beloved stars of this iconic show. The truth is more shocking than fiction. Joan Van Ark, who portrayed the tender and often tormented Valene Ewing in Knots Landing, was 36 when she brought the role to life in 1979. Valene's story of heartbreak, resilience, and maternal love resonated deeply with viewers, making her a central figure in the series. Joan's post-show career faltered with a string of failed pilots and stage productions that never found an audience. She married director John Marshall in 1966, but their relationship unraveled after decades of tension, culminating in a quiet divorce in 2002. They had one daughter, Vanessa, a reclusive artist who distanced herself from Hollywood and her mother alike. Joan struggled with depression and estrangement, especially after her sister's suicide and her mother's long battle with Alzheimer's. She spent her later years in a modest condo in Burbank, haunted by memories of fame and family. Despite sporadic fan convention appearances, she largely withdrew from public life. Now 81, Joan lives alone, relying on a small pension and dwindling royalties. Her estate is estimated at $600,000, most of which is tied up in property. Once a star of primetime drama, she now battles with the silence of a life that drifted far from the spotlight. Donna Mills took on the role of cunning and seductive Abby Cunningham at age 39 in 1980, transforming the primetime landscape with her portrayal of television's ultimate femme fatale. Her character's ruthless ambition made her a household name, but after Knots Landing, Donna's typecasting became a curse. She struggled to break into film and was often passed over for roles she desperately needed. Donna never married, though she had a long, troubled relationship with producer Richard Garrison, which ended amid allegations of emotional abuse. She adopted a daughter, Chloe, in 1994, hoping motherhood would bring fulfillment, but Chloe's addiction struggles and brushes with the law only added to Donna's heartache. The death of her brother in a car accident, and her own near-fatal fall in 2009 left her with lasting trauma. Despite a brief resurgence in daytime TV, Donna mostly retired from acting. Now 84, she lives in a secluded Malibu home, kept company by her memories and two aging dogs. Her estimated estate is valued at $1.2 million, having diminished due to legal battles and medical expenses. Michelle Lee, beloved as the compassionate and moral compass Karen Fairgate Mackenzie, was 37 when she began her role in Knots Landing in 1979. Her character became a symbol of integrity and resilience. Off-screen, Michelle's own life mirrored her on-screen struggles. After divorcing actor James Ferrantino in the early 80s, Michelle entered a series of emotionally draining relationships, none of which led to lasting happiness. Her son David, born in 1965, became estranged from her following public spats and accusations of financial betrayal. Michelle's post-Knots career included directing and producing, but financial mismanagement and a failed Broadway revival left her in significant debt. She also battled colon cancer in her 60s and suffered a breakdown after the sudden death of her lifelong friend and former co-star. Now 82, she lives modestly in a Santa Monica apartment complex, mostly relying on SAG pension and residuals. Her estate is estimated to be worth $850,000. Though remembered fondly by fans, Michelle's later years have been marked by quiet grief and solitude. Ted Shackelford, who played the deeply flawed yet earnest Gary Ewing starting at age 33 in 1979, embodied a man constantly battling his demons. Much like his character, Ted struggled with addiction issues throughout and after the show's run. Despite several stints in rehab, sobriety remained elusive until his late 60s. He married soap actress Laura Dalton in 1982, but the union dissolved in 1995 after years of emotional volatility and public scandal. They had twin sons, Aaron and Lucas, who later distanced themselves from their father due to his erratic behavior. Ted's post-Knots career faded into obscurity, with minor roles and guest appearances unable to revive his earlier fame. A severe stroke in 2016 left him partially paralyzed, and his reclusive lifestyle since then has kept him out of public view. Now 79, Ted lives in assisted care in Ventura County, visited only occasionally by old friends. His estate is estimated at $400,000, a fraction of his earnings during his prime. Once a primetime star, Ted's later years have been marked by illness, estrangement, and a haunting sense of what could have been. Kevin Dobson, who portrayed M. Patrick Mac Mackenzie on Knots Landing, was 39 when he stepped into the role of the principled federal prosecutor turned private attorney in 1982. Dobson gave Mac a complex moral core, becoming one of the show's emotional anchors. Behind the scenes, however, Dobson's life bore the weight of hidden sorrow. He married Susan Van Steenberg in 1968, and though they had 3 children, Marnie, Sean, and Brendan, the marriage was reportedly strained by long separations and Dobson's growing disillusionment with the industry. After Knots Landing, roles became sparse, leading to financial difficulties and struggles with depression. His post-fame years were marked by lawsuits over unpaid royalties and bouts of ill health. Tragically, Dobson also lost his eldest son in a car accident in 2008, a wound from which he never fully recovered. Though he remained active in veterans' causes, he largely retreated from Hollywood. Dobson died on September 6, 2020, from complications of an autoimmune deficiency at the age of 77. He left behind a modest estate valued at approximately $750,000, much of which was divided among his surviving children. William Devane, who joined Knots Landing as political powerhouse Greg Sumner in 1983 at age 44, brought charm and quiet menace to the screen. Known for his quick wit and calculating charisma, Devane's portrayal became a fan favorite. Yet, outside of the spotlight, his life proved far less glamorous. Married to Eugenie Devane since the early 60s, the marriage endured public infidelity scandals and multiple separations. They had 2 sons, Bill Jr. and Joshua, but their family life was fraught with tension, particularly after the loss of their youngest son to a drug overdose in the 90s. Post-Knots, Devane struggled to find equally substantial roles, often typecast or sidelined. Though he found some comfort in a second career as a political commentator, he reportedly battled loneliness and regret over missed familial moments. Now 85, Devane lives in partial seclusion in California. His current estate is estimated at around $3 million, bolstered by decades of residuals and careful investments, though he has said in interviews he finds little joy in his fortune. Constance McCashin, who played Laura Avery Sumner starting at age 32 in 1979, gave her character a grounded, empathetic presence amid the show's escalating melodrama. Her sudden departure in 1987 was not by choice. She was written out, blindsided by producers chasing higher ratings. Afterward, McCashin's career faltered. Devastated, she withdrew from Hollywood and turned to therapy, both as a patient and eventually as a practitioner. Her marriage to author Sam Weisman lasted, but not without turbulence. They had 2 children, Abigail and Henry, and though McCashin sought to provide them a stable life, financial strain and her own bouts of depression loomed large. Her parents died within months of each other in the mid-2000s, deepening her emotional scars. Despite a quiet resurgence in mental health advocacy, she has largely remained out of the spotlight. Now 77, she lives a reclusive life in Massachusetts, her estate valued at approximately $1 million, mostly from investments and speaking engagements. Nicolette Sheridan was just 23 when she brought the seductive, manipulative Paige Matheson to life on Knots Landing in 1986. Her character was electric, but off-screen, Sheridan's life would prove far more turbulent. After a series of high-profile but toxic relationships, including a brief engagement to singer Michael Bolton, she married actor Harry Hamlin in the early 90s, though the union lasted only a year. She later married Aaron Fipers, but their marriage dissolved amid accusations of infidelity and emotional abuse. Sheridan never had children, something she's spoken about with both sorrow and acceptance. Professionally, her post-Knots career saw intermittent success, most notably in Desperate Housewives, but it was marred by legal disputes and industry blacklisting following a high-profile lawsuit against ABC. The case left her financially drained and emotionally shattered. Now 61, she resides alone in a modest Malibu home, with an estate estimated at $2 million. Despite the glamour once attached to her name, Sheridan lives quietly, far removed from the red carpet's glare. Julie Harris, who portrayed Lily Mae Clements in Knots Landing, was 54 when she took on the role of the eccentric and emotionally fragile mother of Valeen Ewing. Her performance, marked by vulnerability and subtle strength, resonated with audiences and showcased her depth as an actress. Despite a career adorned with awards, Harris's personal life was often marked by loneliness. She was married briefly to playwright Manning Gurian, a union that ended in divorce without children. Her later relationships, including a long companionship with a fellow stage actor, dissolved quietly due to her reclusive tendencies. Harris faced several life tragedies, recovering from a near-fatal stroke in 2001, enduring a painful battle with breast cancer, losing her younger brother in a car accident, suffering a devastating house fire in 1995, and battling lifelong depression. She passed away from congestive heart failure in 2013 at the age of 87. In her final years, she lived in seclusion, reflecting on her career and friendships from the stage. Her estate was valued at approximately $2.5 million, a testament to a life spent immersed in the arts. Tanya Crowe, who portrayed Olivia Cunningham, joined Knots Landing at just 9 years old in 1980. Her role as Abby's troubled daughter allowed her to explore complex emotions far beyond her years, earning critical praise. However, Crowe's transition into adulthood was marred by a turbulent personal journey. After leaving acting in her early 20s, she struggled with addiction and entered rehab twice. She married musician Kyle Dawson in 1999. They divorced a decade later after a bitter custody battle over their only child, Mason, now estranged. Crowe's relationship with her mother soured during her teen years, leading to years of estrangement. A failed attempt at a memoir left her disillusioned with the entertainment industry. She now lives quietly in Arizona, occasionally attending recovery support groups. Financially strained, her current estate is estimated at under $100,000. Once a promising child star, her life became a quiet struggle against the ghosts of early fame. Doug Sheehan, who played Ben Gibson, entered Knots Landing at 36 as the steadfast journalist and second husband to Valeen. Audiences appreciated his character's grounded presence amid the show's chaos. Off-screen, Sheehan's life bore little of Ben's stability. Married to former soap actress Lydia Connors since 1985, their relationship endured separations and reconciliations, strained by his long stints on the road doing regional theater after his prime TV roles dwindled. They had 3 children, Miles, Eliza, and Grant, each of whom distanced themselves from the public eye. Tragedy struck when their son Grant died by suicide in 2011, a loss that left Sheehan withdrawn and reclusive. He also battled financial instability following failed real estate investments in the early 2000s. Now 77, he lives modestly in Oregon, away from Hollywood's spotlight. He is said to spend his days gardening and attending grief counseling. His estate is currently valued at around $500,000. Terry Austin, who played the manipulative Jill Bennett in Knots Landing at 30, quickly became one of the show's most unforgettable antagonists. Her icy elegance and scheming charm captivated audiences. Yet behind the camera, Austin's world was far less composed. After her role ended in tragedy on screen, her real-life trajectory mirrored the fall. She married Canadian producer Martin Blake in 1992, a marriage marred by infidelity and a bitter divorce in 2001. They had 2 children, twins named Harper and Julian, both of whom have publicly criticized her for emotional distance during their upbringing. Austen suffered a nervous breakdown in 2005 following the collapse of her short-lived acting school. She also endured a public feud with former castmates over a disputed memoir. Despite these setbacks, she attempted a return to indie film in the 2010s, though few roles followed. Now 69, she resides in semi-retirement in Vancouver. Her estate is estimated at $600,000, diminished by legal fees and failed ventures. Lisa Hartman, who first portrayed the ill-fated singer Siggy Dunn at 27 in, captivated viewers with her haunting voice and tragic beauty. Her character's shocking murder was one of the show's most memorable storylines, leading producers to bring her back as Kathy Geary, a more hardened, resilient version. Off-screen, Lisa's life veered into a slow unraveling after the spotlight dimmed. Her music career, once promising, stalled in the early 90s, and her marriage to singer Clint Black, though glamorous in public, was riddled with long separations and quiet tensions over failed fertility treatments. The couple adopted a daughter, Lila, but the stress of raising a child in the public eye fractured their bond. Hartman also endured the suicide of her brother in 2004, a devastating house burglary in 2010, and years of insomnia and anxiety. Though she attempted several television comebacks, none matched her early success. Now 69, she lives a reclusive life in Nashville, having retreated from Hollywood. Her estate, once valued at several million, has dwindled to an estimated $900,000, following years of quiet legal battles and financial missteps. Michelle Phillips took on the role of Van Matheson in Knots Landing at 43, embodying a character equal parts seductress and schemer, bringing a faded starlet's shine to the soap's tangled ensemble. Once the golden voice of the mamas and the papas, her transition to acting never truly captured the heights of her musical fame. Her life off-screen unfolded like a cautionary ballad. Turbulent marriages to Dennis Hopper, Granger Hines, and 3 others left her emotionally frayed and often in the tabloids. Her only daughter, China, born from her stormy relationship with John Phillips, grew up amidst discord, addiction, and tabloid drama. Their bond, though occasionally repaired, was more strained than strong. In the years following Knots Landing, roles became scarce as age and the industry's shifting standards edged her out. A bout with breast cancer in the 2000s, followed by a near-fatal car crash in 2015, further dimmed her public presence. Now 80, she lives quietly in Malibu, surrounded not by luxury but mementos, writing occasional memoir pieces and shunning public life. Her estate, a shadow of her former wealth, is valued at approximately $1.5 million. Kim Langford, who joined Knots Landing at 25 as Ginger Ward, the sweet, trusting wife of cheating Kenny, was a fan favorite for her warmth and vulnerability. Yet after leaving the series in 1983, Langford's career faltered, with only minor guest roles and a brief stint as a real estate agent to sustain her. She married television director Paul Wakefield in 1986, but their relationship collapsed amid allegations of infidelity and financial mismanagement. The couple had 2 children, Dylan and Cassie, but a prolonged custody battle and Kim's mental health struggles in the 90s led to estrangement. She suffered a mental breakdown in 1999, followed by a stint in a wellness facility. Financial ruin came in 2008 during the housing crash, wiping out her investments. A fire at her California home in 2016 left her temporarily homeless. Now 70, she lives quietly in a small apartment in Pasadena, occasionally giving interviews about her time on Knots Landing. Her estate is estimated at just $300,000. Who is your favorite character from Knots Landing? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.